Hi guys, welcome back to the Cool Side. This is Jokofu Podcast. I'm your host. My name is June Wangare. Today, my fellow hosts Jobu and Ray hawako hapa but wako behind the scenes. Mpokee salamu zao. Jobu anasema mbwekse mbwekse mbwekse. Yeah. Um, yeah, so that's me. Today, we are joined by three amazing and lovely guests. So, I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves, say what they do, and also tell us. Oh, by the way, today our topic is about women's health as part of our African Womanhood series. So, they're going to tell us their names, what they do, anything else they want to tell us, but also something about health or women's health, but health in general that they're currently learning. I'll start. So, as I said, my name is June. Something about health that I'm currently learning is the importance of physical activity or movement to health, like something basic, like just walking every day, and how much it has changed my health for me personally. Like, tukipanda fourth floor, sihemi. Sheila was just saying the same thing, but I feel more flexible, feel more free. Your mind feels more active, more also free to think. Your days are more productive. So yeah, so that's something that I'm currently learning and implementing. We can go from here.
Okay. Habari yenu. Habari yako. And yeah, how are you guys? I'm Sheila, and I am an entrepreneur. I'm also a farmer, and yeah, I think that's that. Something about health that I am currently learning is, I think it's more of a practical for me because the importance of as you've said, the physical activity for me. I think mali nimefika kwa miaka, I've seen when you're just sitting like for a long day kwa ofisi ama wapi, you tend to unasikia unaumwa na mgongo, magoti, sijui shingo, just from nowhere, and you're just sitting. But the more active I get, I feel like hizo pains zinaenda, like the importance of mobility and the importance it plays in our health. So that's one thing for me. And the other thing I'm learning about health is like eating specific foods. Like for instance, like nikikula, like when they say ginger helps with inflammation. So the moment I feel I have something, symptoms kama inflammation, and I take ginger and I see, oh, by the way, it actually works. Yeah, so the importance of, I don't know to call it like targeted, I don't know what to call it, but like targeted, eating targeted foods to alleviate like certain symptoms and all. I've seen the importance of that. Yeah.
Nice, thank you.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Natasha. I am a research scientist. And I'm God's baby. Something I am currently learning about health is living with my cycle or working with my cycle, my menstrual cycle to be precise. As a woman, you have days where you are just seriously lazy and you don't know why, or you have days where you just want emotional, right, and angry at it, the whole world, or you just want to eat carbs and all the rubbish in the world. But I recently got this app that tells me, so you're in this phase of your cycle, this is what you should be eating, these are the kind of movements you should be doing. So I like going for runs, I like working out, but it's also important for me to know when am I in my cycle right now, and does it allow me to actually do these things right now, just so that I am not working against my own body. So that's something that's really helping me, and it's very critical for me, especially because I'm a very ambitious person. So I have days where I would like to wake up at 5, at 4 to work, but then my body is just like, no, we need 7 hours, 7 to 9 hours. Please don't get us out of bed. So me to know where exactly I'm in my cycle, I understand that. If it means I'd have to push longer during the night or just be very productive during the day, I'd do that. So yeah.
Wow. Hello everyone. It's Gladwell. Um, I'm a counseling psychologist, and I'm really glad to be back here. The last time we were here, we had a very nice discussion. It feels good to be back. Thank you, John, for inviting me. And what I'm being intentional about, maybe not learning, we sometimes know but we don't practice, but then now I'm being intentional in doing it, is sleep hygiene. From a place of knowing how our bodies thrive and are more productive from a place of rest. And so I'm learning and training myself to appreciate that aspect and being able to give myself a chance to rest enough, and especially a good night's sleep. Of course, we can opt to have good sleep, lakini umelala mchana, but then now a good night's sleep, like at the right time where your body is actually like conditioned to have rest. And being able to get, she mentioned 7 to 9 hours. It's not easy. It's easier said than done, especially when you're someone who's wakeful. I came to discover that I tend to be wakeful in the night. I could have interrupted sleep. I'm sleeping for like 2 or 3 hours, then I'm up, and getting back to sleep is difficult. So I'm trying to train myself to actually just like slow down back into sleep than stay awake, read something or work. Sometimes you've carried work home and you're like, now that I'm awake, let me just do it. But then I'm trying to learn to appreciate sleep and just find a way to get back. Of course, anything that helps, staying away from screens, mentally knowing I'm not supposed to be awake, so it's going to help me get back to sleep. Anything that could really help. And I'm learning a lot. I'm also trying to practice a lot. Still in a work in progress, and I think we'll say much more as we go. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you guys so much, and thank you again for being here. We hope to get into the details of everything that you have discussed. Vanessa, thanks for mentioning. I think they call it cycle thinking, because sometimes you want to have a daily routine and wake up at 5 every day, but some days it's just not practical, like depending on what point of your cycle it is.
Exactly.
And it's okay, because sometimes like you'll feel like, no, I'm being lazy this week, but it's like your body, you're actually responding to what your body is telling you.
And actually, the first time I heard about the cycle thinking, my sister's the one who told me, and she's like, oh, I'm in this time in my cycle where I'm supposed to be taking seeds and that. I'm like, just know God. These things will solve itself. Just know God. Honestly, I just thought you're bringing too much into something Jesus has control over. Until now, I would have days where I'd have weeks where I am so productive. I wake up at 4, I go to sleep at 11. I'm just working. And then the next week, I'm waking up at 7. I just want to sleep. I don't want to move. So then I just did more research, and it was actually, okay, my cycle is in this place, so it just needs me to take it slower. So don't push me beyond that. So I think it's a very good thing for us to be actually aware of, so that, like Sheila said, when you have those emotional outbursts, you even know how to live with the people around you. You know, I need to measure myself, otherwise hapa hivi naweza washa moto. So
You need to warn them.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm on my cycle. If I'm
on.
being irritable, nikurudisha vibaya, just kindly understand.
Nirudishie, nitalia.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
But I think I'm learning something. I've never thought about cycle thinking like that. But one thing I know and I do is, like, I plan things based on my cycle. Like, if you tell me, oh, by the way, on Nini tuna travel, then the first thing I'm looking at is my cycle. Then I'll just know, will I go? Will I not go? Can it be postponed? If I go, I know I won't have fun because I'm on my cycle. Anyway, I'm learning something about that cycle thinking.
So before we get into defining and discussing a few things, I wanted to read you guys some things that I found online. So it's either a myth or a fact. So I'll say them and you say whether it's a myth or a fact about women's health. But we can start with the one that you just said. Have Jesus. So so the first one is, if you have Jesus, you don't need therapy, or you can't have mental issues. Is that a myth or a fact?
Okay, I'm going to speak as a Christian. Then she will speak as a mental health who is a Christian.
But now we're not discussing. Say tunasema tu myth or fact. If you have Jesus, no, it's okay. You say yours.
Okay.
Myth or fact. You can say randomly. You don't even have to wait for me to say. Myth.
Yeah.
If you have, just say the question again.
Like if you have Jesus, you can't have mental issues. Like, not that, as in you can never experience.
Okay.
Umesema myth.
Mm-hmm.
Mi niko katikati.
Myth.
Myth. Okay. You must be sick to visit a hospital.
Myth.
Myth.
Me.
Yeah.
Allah? What do you mean? You people visit. Oh, yes, okay. It's a
Yeah,
myth.
exactly.
So they also go for checkups.
It's a myth, but the way we normally live is
You go
mpaka saa ile nimekuwa mgonjwa
That's the
kabisa.
African, yeah.
It's critical.
It's
Let me
the
now
same
go to
as
the hospital.
Nikipona, I don't have to finish the dosage.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
myth or
okay.
fact.
Exactly.
Yeah, or
That's
even
a
go
myth.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
we shall
For your
discuss.
review. You could finish
Um,
your dosage, but not go back for review.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's a thing also.
It's a
Hey,
myth.
Miss J, ready for review.
Um,
Yeah. Stress can make you physically ill. Myth or fact?
Fact.
Fact.
Yeah.
Fact.
Yes.
Women often ignore their own health and prioritize other responsibilities.
Fact.
Fact.
Women exaggerate period pain.
Myth.
Myth. What do you mean?
But me, I've had
saying
someone.
that?
I've had someone say that. It
Who
was
is
on the
saying-
internet.
No, those
But
are
I've had
men
someone say
saying
that
that.
around, of
We
course.
should get the period simulators and
Yeah.
get some men to try it.
Rest is laziness. We'll rest in heaven.
Shindwe, that's a myth.
Strong women don't get stressed or depressed.
Myth.
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 What you eat doesn't matter as long as you exercise.
That's rubbish.
That's myth.
If you take a painkiller for period pain, you'll have complications during pregnancy or childbirth.
Myth.
The amount of times I've had that.
Yeah, no, it's a thing. Yeah,
Hey,
It's a
watch
myth.
out.
yeah, it's a very popular myth.
Yeah.
Is it though? Is it really a myth or is it true? Because I mean, okay, this was supposed to be a myth or fact kind of thing.
It's actually the last one, so you can say something.
Because I remember when I was in high school, we had this like motivational speakers come, right? So these two ladies come and they're like, oh, you know, when I was in high school, I used to take a lot of painkillers during my period cramps issues. Na sijui, there was one of us who just overdid it, and by the time she was getting pregnant and time to give birth, her muscles had just been thoroughly chaotic. So I've never
Oh,
really
you
done
mean
research.
like overdose?
No, Nitu alikuwa anasema basically they took it very often that in all honesty it sort of affected the muscles because you know period cramp is basically your muscle
Yeah.
relaxing and so it was just like hakuna kitu tunaweza feel sasa we are literally just dead.
Okay, that's interesting.
So I've not really done research, but I remember I sat down with one of my reproductive health friends, and she was like, "Yeah, there's some truth to it, but it's not really like that. But there is some truth to it, but I didn't really go beyond to just find out. So I personally I avoid painkillers also, just because, I mean, women's health is something that's not very well understood. Tunaweza sema ni myth, but then in the long run, it could be something that actually has an impact, and just because someone hasn't done a study, we can't really know.
But that's something we're gonna discuss.
Yeah, something to
yeah.
maybe save up for Gaina.
Sorry. Oh yeah, that's what another
Something to
question.
Yeah,
ask
by
like
the
a
way.
professional in that field.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's worth.
Yeah.
asking.
Come
Yeah.
to think of it, I retract my comment. Myth.
You retract your comment.
That is a myth.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when you think about it on the long stretch and
Yeah.
in like various contexts,
Yeah.
it could be different.
But I
Wait,
think
I
I
think
think we
research-
can, like she said, we could
research.
actually ask a gyna just to find out is
Yeah.
it true or not, and then maybe during next podcast you can give
Yeah.
feedback because that's something very important.
Yeah, but then we're gonna have a part 2. We'll tell you at the end
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
for me personally, I'm someone who has grown up with difficult
Cramp.
cramps.
Okay.
Like it gets bad.
Okay.
Like I can't move. Sengine inakuwa mbaya, even the oral administration of painkillers
Painkillers is
gets
not
hard.
enough.
Lazima uende udungwe shindano.
Okay.
Yeah.
Umekunywa painkiller, it's not muscles hazisikii.
Yeah.
So unaenda kudungwa shindano. And
Damn.
I remember, yeah.
Sorry for
From high school.
Seven shaidunga.
From high school. Actually, our nurse alikuwa tu ananijua like, you've come, just lie down. Like
Guy.
alikuwa tu ananingojea every month.
Eh.
I'd be carried from class because siwezi tembea. It
Je-
was really bad.
Jesus.
Yes. So I think I remember one time my mom got very concerned.
Yeah.
And she took me to OBGYN
Yeah.
and I was given medication like for every time, like
You have
the
cramps.
cycle,
Okay.
like the ovulation phase.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Unakunywa hii dawa.
Oh.
After ukimaliza day
Yeah.
14 ukunywe hii, like that's how for like 3 months, and actually ilinisaidia kukunywa hiyo dawa, but then kona nikunywa dawa mingi sana.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's also leans more on the hormonal side.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so I think for me,
So
I can't survive without
really. What did
painkillers.
the doctor say was a problem? Because you're saying it's a hormone issue, and it's definitely a hormone issue. So what did they say?
They told my mom I was.
Oh, you're a baby.
I was
Okay.
I think I was either I had just joined college or I just or in high school something.
Yeah.
But I remember my mom took me, nikafanywa scan, everything was okay.
Yeah.
It was just hormonal, but I think with
it was just
age,
hormonal, yeah.
with age,
It's better.
It gets better.
It does.
Let me say that.
I think that's something we
yeah.
definitely need to just do more research on,
Yeah.
and it's something that many people actually have a challenge with.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so it's good if we actually understand what's going on. And I don't like men telling women this is what is wrong. You
Yeah.
know, so you go to a guy now who is a man.
man.
How are you? How do you relate? How can you treat me and you don't have this?
Wamesomea hiyo.
Experience is a whole different thing. So men when experience,
Yeah.
you would
Yeah.
know how to handle it better. You wouldn't just bring science and say, "Oh, the science says this."
Yeah.
But if you have the experience of you've had bad cramps and you are a doctor, you would give us a better advice and just
Yeah.
take this because science says this is what you should take.
Yeah.
So I think definitely this is something we can just read more on.
You brought up so many issues.
Sorry.
Already.
Yeah, you brought up so many issues. I want us to pause,
Okay.
and then, because I needed us to define what health is,
Oh,
and then we come back to all these issues. Yeah.
Okay.
So, by the way, if you had, we are here with professionals. Or if you had, we are here with professionals. So, what do you guys? Let me fix this for you.
Okay.
Closer. Yeah. Oh. Okay. So when you guys hear health, what comes to mind? What is health?
Gladwell.
Doesn't have to be for women, but just
Yeah.
what's health?
For me, I think health. When I hear health, and I think it's coming from some experience in the healthcare field. It comes with a holistic, view that it's like I have this thing at the back of my mind that I know.
Yeah.
It's not what I would very quickly say, like you're fine, you're not sick or sick. At the back of my mind, there's this point that comes up that it's beyond that, and it's like a nag, like could push out of that. What I would say, the normal place that your mind goes off. If you're healthy, you're not sick. If you're sick, you're not healthy.
Okay.
It's beyond that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So there's another behind the scene thought
Yeah.
that it's supposed to be bigger than that.
Okay.
That at least that's what comes to mind.
Okay.
And then there's now the putting it in perspective. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Gladys.
I think I agree with her, but for me, I'm just going to quote scripture. There's a verse that Paul says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper even as your soul prospers." For me, when I think of health, that is what health looks like. I prosper even as my soul prospers. So health is me not just, if, for example, I was someone that was obese, right? Then health is me prospering, controlling my BMI and being a healthier version, but not just that, prospering also in that, you've also found people who they were obese, now they're slim, and then they're just depressed, they're pathetic, they don't have, life.
Yeah.
So for me, it's, there's soundness of mind and the soundness of body also. Your body is agreeing with your mind. So your soul is like, it comes back to the mental health kind of perspective. So you prosper. It's not just being okay, but you're prospering in being okay. Kuna a progression. You get, it's glory to glory, better every day. Like the way she said she used to have really bad cramps. Right now it's not as it was, right? So that's prospering. It's better and better. That's what I think about when I think about health.
Yes, thank you.
I think for me, health is well-being. Am I okay physically? Am I okay mentally? Am I okay like emotionally? Like the whole, it's a holistic kind of thing. Like well-being in all these areas. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. You said prospering, so not just surviving but thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Acha ni shine kwa vile nimekuwa nikisoma. Sasa wacha. It's also, I think, in philosophy with Aristotle, he talks about human flourishing. It's not just about kukua tu, but flourishing.
Yeah.
But I think something yenye mne bring out, so it's not just about physical health.
Yeah.
We've discussed reproductive health, mental health, social health with others, spiritual health.
Yeah.
Everything. So, okay, back to something that I thought came up when we kept saying we need to research.
Yeah.
And some of the things is not that we have not just researched, but it's also because the research is not available. So last year there was this whole trend about that women's health research has been neglected, and women's health research has not been invested in. So the whole theory was that a lot of research done has been for men, by men for men, and then generalized to fit women.
Can you give us an example before we agree with you? Can you give an
Sasa,
example of a research that was done for men by men?
So now me, I can't. Now you debunk that for us. That is the information that was on the internet. Yeah. Okay. Oh.
That's interesting.
So let me just echo what Rhea said. He said that there's research done on endometriosis that was about finding out how men cope to their girlfriends and wives, partners who have endometriosis.
Yeah.
And
I wonder,
not-
did they also
and
do
not focused on
how women...
Not on the girl who has endometriosis, how the boyfriend feels.
Ah, okay.
Okay. I mean, if I'm being quite honest, right, like I don't think women's health is neglected or that research is not being done for women. I believe that the fact that we have like a section for women's health means that people are pouring money. We don't have research for men. Like even in any research institute, there is no reproductive health for men
for
kind
men.
of research. It's just women's health, because people understand if the woman is not healthy, the baby is probably not going to be healthy.
Yeah.
If the woman is not healthy, then probably unaona venye watu I was listening to some of your old podcasts, but that kind of mindset that if the woman is not okay, and it boils down from the point of a lot of things were neglected before in terms of women research and women health, that people now just decided, okay, this research we did generalize the whole population. These people have an entire different set of hormones that affect them throughout their daily lives. How does that look like if we give them this particular drug? So I believe, I think so, and I have seen research that is actually women oriented, like to say, for example, reproductive health, like the way you're talking, a lot of money has gone into this, and this is mainly no one is going to give a man something to prevent me from getting pregnant, right? They're going to give me that thing, right? So there's a lot of research that has been done to find out whatever you're giving me, is it okay for me? Because for a man, it's just a vasectomy, like to cut it on a story ishe. Ziache
I
kuflo.
have a serious issue with that. I don't like that.
But for women, tukona options ngapi? So many, right?
Yeah.
Some damage your hormones, and it makes sense because if you use something for so long, it would actually have an impact on your health, right? Let's say, for an example, there's that aspect of African health and white people or European health. So there's some research that's been done, but it's mostly towards white women. We don't really know how this affects black women. And that's because you just look at our governments, most of the time they don't even pour money into research. Sembuse women's research, it's a whole different thing. But people out there, like Europeans out there, they're doing research for women because they saw that this was a gap, right? We even have other countries in South Africa and other African countries that actually do more research here in Kenya. And even in Kenya, we have partners with like different countries and institutions just to understand women's health. But sijai sikia ati research on men, sijui what. Isipokuwa cancer, hakuna kitu ingine mtu anafanya research on men. That's it.
So hata juzi ndio there's the whole trend coming up about men's health also being responsible for the health of the pregnant women and the baby. Ilikuwa tu juzi. Okay, I get what you're. So what you're saying is there's actually no neglect, or if there's someone who's being neglected, it's a man.
I honestly, and that is true. And also, I think also we have to be we have to just remember that, like for example, if I come up with a drug right now, right? The way I've developed this drug, I definitely, when I'm doing a clinical trial, I will have women and men in my clinical trial. Kitambo haikukua as much, and kitambo hata ilikuwa, it would just be white people, right? And we wouldn't know how this drug affects black people until later we see, oh, there's effects or that or that or that. But right now, it's not as it should be, if we're being honest, but people are doing things. You know, science is trying to accommodate that this is something we have neglected. This is something we need to just focus on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Not to get into the mental health bit yet, but I remember I was talking just about the research. But
Yeah.
I remember I was talking to my cousin one day. She's doing a thesis, clinical psychology. So she was telling me that in their class, they were learning about how most of the most of the, how should I say, systems that have been set up for analysis of mental health were set up by Western countries, but then they're supposed to apply to us, yet like there's difference in physical health and demographics. So they're saying, and when like black African people want to give out their research, they're like, no, this doesn't apply. So like they don't let the African research get into the international, but they expect the Western research to be applied by everyone. Is this true, Gladwell?
True or not, I may not say, but just what I have at least seen and observed over the years, even during our school training, you'll find that even for the classwork, the content that you're being taught in school, most of it is books from the West, like from like a Western setting. So like in a sense, unafunzwa tu hiyo and then you're supposed to adapt it. I don't know how, because there's also no training on how to adapt it to our setting. And so it's like, get the skill, go apply. But then the skill has been brought from research in a very different setting, very different culture, because psychology and social factors are very culturally oriented. Like they are affected by wherever you are and what's going on. So you'll find that if I'm being taught a certain skill and it's been brought up by someone who has lived in a totally different culture, me adapting it to my own, or the one that the people I'm serving and helping are from, becomes like quite a process as well. That I'd say the system is lacking in that way, because also as much as there is not enough information, I think we should also be helped to just adapt it at least. But then again, it comes back to, we hopefully are growing into getting our own, our own research that is based on our cultures. And there are several organizations I have seen in the recent past, they are working on it. And I think that's a plus. It's a point of growth that we are going towards. And it's so encouraging, because when you read those papers, you can really see it's like we all knew from before. It doesn't apply as directly as we were being taught, but then now it's coming up slowly. So I'd say it might have been like that before, but then things are changing. It's gradual, might take a while, but it's changing. So it's something to appreciate.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to have more like African-based research on mental health, so we don't reference white people's experience on mental health. So it's a good. It's low, like you're saying, but it's a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's begun, so it's something.
So ladies, so they've confirmed that there is a lot of research out there, some in the works and some already there. So it's up to us to like do the research and be informed. So since we had already discussed a lot about reproductive health, I'll just bring up a reproductive health issue, the biggest one that we talked about, which is menstrual health. So I remember when we went to do, it was like ministry in a primary school. So they separated them, girls and boys. So we were talking to the girls, and then we were talking to them about like periods and sanitation habits and all of that. Then they were saying one of the issues that they have is like the secrecy around pads. So yeah, you get
my
so when
God.
you're in primary, like it's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
As an
Yeah,
adult,
yeah, but
never
no,
ends.
okay, when you're younger, it's more embarrassing.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
it made me think like, how early should these conversations be had, and should they also be had with boys? Because you know, like when they have, because the reason they're more embarrassed is because of boys. Because
Yeah.
they're like, the boy will see. So now, because you know, sometimes some schools invest, they have someone come talk to the girls, but no one talks to the boys. That's the boy. Yeah, yeah. So the boys are the ones who are probably, they don't know out of information.
They
They
know
could end up
when they
shaming
get a
someone
girlfriend
because
or-
of something.
Yeah.
When they get a girlfriend when they're older, of course, when they're in primary, the girlfriend will not talk about their period because they're still embarrassed. Yeah, you see.
Yeah.
So yeah, should boys also be taught?
Yeah, actually, it brings me to something I saw online about some guys were saying how they came to know about menstrual cycle. So one of them was saying akaenda choo, so sitaki ametoka choo, yeye ameenda choo, anapata blood, akaanza kuscream kwa nyumba, anafikiria sitaki anadai, like anaita mamake. The mother is like, what is wrong with you? Like, I don't know, it's actually something that I think we assume the boys will know.
Yeah.
So I think they need to be taught. They need to be taught when they get, because pia your time wanna go through the
Puberty.
physical changes. They need to be told that women also go through this and this. And one of the things that I truly hate is going to the supermarket and I'm buying pads. Na huo mtu ananirapia na gazeti kwanza.
Yeah,
Ask them
that's the
why?
thing.
Like, why? Is it because you don't want
But see,
someone
they wrap.
already-
Wait, they wrap even the soap, the omo, the
Okay, that's why you
kipande.
understand. Okay, you understand.
Anything
But
that's
it makes
not,
sense that we're
because
wrapped
even sausage
sabuni.
inakuwa wrapped in a gazeti. So what
I
is the
know.
problem?
That one is for.
But hata mi
nini.
nishainunua pads pekee na nikarapiwa
Inarapiwa na
pads.
gazeti.
Eh.
Ndio-
Okay, I see.
It's like sijui mtu
Yeah.
afai kukuona.
Okay, so
And I'm like, why? This?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think men should be taught because at one point, okay, the men, they interact with women, whether it is at home, whether it is in the workplace, or you have friends and all that. Ni poa kukuwa na hiyo, at least your basic understanding. Ndio kusikuwa na hizo such myths as you're saying ati women exaggerate period pain and all that. Like if you, a guy is a boss and I can go and tell him, hey, I'm not okay for this couple, I'm not feeling well.
where?
Kumbali, though, I'm dreaming of
But
a
wait,
better
Nairobi,
Kumbali.
Nairobi County just said
Yeah.
that it's okay, that every
Menstrual
month
leave,
women
yeah.
have menstrual leave. So okay,
Yeah. So they're doing well.
ni sisi tu
Yes.
tunapewa hiyo.
So I think also it's based on, because the African culture is really secretive, a lot of
Shame. There's a
eh,
lot
Yeah,
of
it's
shame.
embarrassment. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, don't talk about this and this.
Exactly.
Especially a parent kuambia their child ufai kuongelea hizi vitu. So I think it's upon us to start like doing better going
Yeah.
forward. Yeah.
But I also think it's not also very easy for you to find men who are interested in knowing these things. Like, I don't want to throw shade at the people behind the camera, but you can just, during the whole conversation, you can see moments where they're keen on, they're listening, and then there are moments where they're, okay, so that's it. And I'm not trying to throw any shade, but if I'm being honest, I have observed, right? Kuna mahali tunaongelea cramps.
They're like, I can't
like, okay.
relate with
But
this.
I think there's a point of interest, and there's a point of there are also not you men in the society
Yeah.
are also products of the little boys who are not told that periods are normal. You
Okay.
get
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. That's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
But then I think possibly where the gap could be is for a young boy, a young man, or just the male population at whatever stage of life development, sharing or knowing this information, I think this is like a chance to help them know where it applies. Like amejua alafu, you know.
Yeah,
But then if
okay.
you are able to express that, I think what Sheila has mentioned, when they know, like being aware is a step ahead in being able to support someone who could be going through
Yeah.
that phase or
Yeah.
that part in their cycle, and that is very helpful.
Yeah.
you wouldn't understand the place of empathy when you're going through your period until you are actually, and then someone like either reacts badly and you're like, you should be knowing I'm going through the worst time of my life right now, and
Yeah.
you're just treating me like it's a normal day. I'm acting like it's a normal day, but it's not a normal day internally, you know. I know what's going on and I'm just bearing the pain or whatever it is. So getting empathy in that time, even if you don't have to go telling people I'm on my period, so be kind, but then at least to know someone understands to a level that even if you're to disclose that this is a difficult time, they'll be like kind enough to tell you, oh, sorry, what can I do to be of support? Like now, if it's your boss, if it's your family member at home, there's this. This sounds a bit fast. There's this place. I think it's our home way of accommodating. You know, like ladies in the home and the menstrual cycle and all, where like if at that point in the month and I'm having cramps, I would just say I have a headache and everyone is like all hands on deck. They'll wash dishes, they'll do everything, make food, and I'll be able to have a meal without like I am the girl in the home, mbona haujafanya. It will just be she had a headache and she went to sleep. And I think that's so supportive.
That's
it
really
always makes me wanna sob. But I'm like, you guys are so kind. So you know, like when they get it, you might not say exact words because I think they cringe. You observe possibly, right? But you can just find like even if it's a code, but then at the end of the day the support comes through, it's okay. And I think that should.
I agree with that
because
because, like, for me, when I get my crumbs and I'm home, so I've gone to Nairobi to stay with my siblings, and my crumbs just appear. I was expecting like 2 days or 3 days after I'm back in Kericho. I can just tell my brother, unaweza pitia supermarket unichukulie pads, alafu watafika hapo. Ndo ongea na huyu msichana, mimi sielewi anataka nini. But it's a point of, if you look at where we have come so far in terms of even men being more open. Because I think kitambo, like I remember the first time my sister used to have really bad cramps, and my mom would be like, my mom is a proper African woman, so she'd be like, it's not the end of the world.
Oh my God.
My grandmother
It's not,
says it.
it's not the end of the world. You're going to be someone's mom, you're going to be someone's husband, you're going to work somewhere. Sasa watu watakula kwa sababu uko na cramps. Watu watalala njaa, you know? And for her, it's coming from a place of, this is what the world wanted me to be like. So I want you to be tough also. I don't want you to go out there and expect sympathy from people. Right now, hapa hivi nyumbani, zoea tu. Toughen up, just, you know, you can handle it. And kidogo inakani kama hakuna empathy, if you're being honest. But if I'm also being honest, I would not want to go to my workplace and be like, oh, you know, it's that time of the month. Because I know men just have a mindset they would look at things. Like, unaona siku zenye umeingia job and you're quiet. People are like, oh, leo Vanessa sijui nini imefanyika, amenyamaza. You know, and without even saying it, they're implying maybe it's that, you know, you can be talking to someone and you're just very passionate about something and be like, is it that time of the month? You know? So I would also not want to just disclose it just so that it's not used against me. I don't make a point or I don't react a certain way and then someone is like,
That's why.
Ukumbuki venye time Hillary was vying for presidency, some people are like, hey, na hiyo siku amke kama meets that time, na nuclear codes zako nayo, nini neza fanyika, you know, like people can just take whatever you're going through, especially society and men, if we're being honest, they can make it seem like this is a problem. And because you're going through it, you're going to say whatever you're going through is why ndokomana you're being a problem today. So it's just it's a tug of war kind of thing. On one hand, you'd like to get the off day, because if you're being honest, no one wants to get out of bed when it's that time of the month. But if they know, then it can be used against you too. So you're stuck in between.
You brought out a really nice aspect about, like, not nice, important aspect about, like, the traditional African women saying it's not the end of the world. So it made me think about how such things have made, like, women generally be so resilient. But also what we had said, hapo kwa facts na myths, the fact that a lot of women, especially, not just older women, but women, often neglect their own health and mental health, since we're bringing out mental health because of other responsibilities,
Yeah.
the caregiver burden, and all of that. Yeah, don't see anything about that. Especially our resident psychologist.
Neglecting about
Their
neglecting the
own health or mental health
Yeah.
because of the burden of others. You get like sina time ya kukua depressed kwa vile I'm a mother. Like sina time ya kukua depressed. Bwanangu atavaa nini kesho? Yeah.
I find it to be. I don't think anyone really ever thinks it through to a point of I am neglecting my health. It just seems to happen.
Yeah.
Like it's also happening to them. They are not making it happen. I don't know if it's clear.
Yeah.
Like it's something that out of everything that is happening around you, utajipata tu you're caught up in watoto wanafaa kufanya hivi na hivi na hivi. If you are an older siblings, my younger siblings, this and this and that. If you are a mom, you know, kazi iko hapa, family iko hapa and everything. So you're caught up in all that and health doesn't come up. You see, health is not one of those things that hakuna alarm ati remember yourself, like drink some water, rest, go sleep. No, it's something you have to remember. But then the rest are so forthcoming. They just show up. Your child is there, amefanya nini, they are just there. They need attention. So health is like easily pushed to the back of your mind, and by the time you realize something is wrong is actually when something is wrong and you're at the hospital. You know, so it wouldn't necessarily be neglect, like active, you play an active role in neglecting. It's just something that also happens to you. And I believe now the part or the place we need to really think on and be intentional about is the what to do to prevent the neglect, like isiku hapenie, you know. And that's now the place of being intentional. Like wake up in the morning, and I like what Sheila, I think you might not have noticed it, but you often say it to like when trying to help someone find routine or something, like wake up, even if it's 10 minutes earlier than when everyone else expects you to be awake, to make breakfast, and take a moment and just, if it's deep breaths, breathe in and out. If it's reflecting, journal. If it's exercise, go for a walk, 10 minutes or 15. Just you and yourself and your systems, like reset. If it's I think one of the things personally that would work in the morning is just quiet. Like hakuna mtu anakuuliza swali, hakuna mtu anakuuliza anything, hakuna mtu anaita jina yako, just quiet. If it's that works for you, go for it. And in that 10 minutes, you're able to reset and you are able to get back like a full package of energy to pour into everything else that will come rushing very soon, like 10 minutes in, and it will all be coming. Breakfast is here, chai kapo on the stove, and then this side someone is calling your name to do something was torn and they need to wear it. You know, all you get it. So before all that comes, just take a moment and whatever works for you, just do it. A few minutes, reset, and then start the day. It can also be in the evening. It depends on your setup of like the home. If evening works for you, kila mtu ameenda kulala, but then still remember your sleep is important. Take a few minutes, then ease into the night. And then consistency also on that. Like, isifika mahali, it's today, then tomorrow, then it all rushes in again and it's behind the scenes. Just consistently doing that. And that's why if you can start with the minimal steps, it goes a long way. So I know I've gone the other side of it, but that's basically what we can do, where we have control, preventing the neglect. You may not have control over when neglect comes because a lot else is happening. So it's likely to just happen. But then actively play a role in preventing or making sure you're looking out for yourself. You can also have an accountability person. Like if someone notices you're not looking good, like some way, they can just check in and be like, hey, have you been eating healthy? Have you been exercising? Have you been waking up in the morning and getting your 10 minutes, you know? And checking in. And then, of course, medical checkup goes a long way. I know we are possibly going to get there at some point in the discussion. But like, also have intentional moments where you just go to the hospital for yourself. Not because ati ulivunjika wapi ama uliumia wapi, just to go have a chat with the doctor and be like, okay, so I'm in this place in my health, whether it's the menstrual cycle, whether it's any other health issue, bring it up and be like, so next steps. And from a professional point of view, they're able to help you. And of course, this covers also the mental health perspective. It's not a bad thing to come. I'm not speaking as a psychologist, to me and be like, I don't have any problem happening right now, but this is how my life is set up. Can you help me explore ways to be better or do better? So that you're preventing crisis rather than every time you're fixing things, when they go wrong, you're
That's
fixing,
nice. Yeah.
taking medication. It can also prevent some of those aspects that we always fear of being on very many medications and all. And we can't really go back from there. Unajua ikishafika point when you need medication, we can't dial back and be like,
The ship has sailed.
ishafika.
Yeah.
So we need to actually intervene with meds.
Yeah.
But then before it gets there, you can do something where in advance, go for it. Just do it. Approach a professional in whatever perspective and get some support. Yeah.
Thank you, Gladwell. I was actually gonna ask you that, like, what are the solutions? So thank you for going ahead to talk about it.
Yeah.
And then you've also mentioned something about accountability, which is something we're also going to discuss. Because when we mentioned about the whole definition of health, there was also the social aspect. Because even as you're discussing, I was like, wow, hizo ni vitu mingi. Like, so now, let's say, ufikirie bwana, ufikirie watoto kama wako, or pets, ufikirie your own life, your professional life. Tena sasa ufikirie, I need to go for checkup, I need to go to sleep, I need to be mindful, like hizo vitu zote. So I feel like we can't do it on our own. So there's a whole social aspect that comes to health. It is, I don't know who said, but it is said that loneliness kills just as fast as any cigarettes or whatever that you think about.
It's actually, if I may say something.
Yeah, definitely.
Loneliness. And I think it also aligns with something I was going to interrupt with. On now, yes, we've gone the extent of like a woman in the setup where there are kids and everything, but I think most of our audience is likely young adults, and in that stage where you're trying to build your life, your life, at the same time you're trying to connect with community, but then sometimes it's like the puzzle is not complete. Like you're wondering, nani aliba piece ingine? You're like, okay, they either didn't give me the full set, ama hawakuniambia nafaa kutengeneza aje. It's a bit confusing, and it's a very normal stage of development, even for our parents. They may not say it, but they possibly went through it. I don't have like evidence for that, but being a young adult in a space where so much is happening and you feel like you need to be doing the so much, like participating, and you're also trying to figure out what's my place in all this, it can be so overwhelming. And having community goes a long way. Like people who will tell you, enyewe hata mimi nilikuwa hapo jana, and this helped. Can you try it? And it's not by force, it's just, it helped me, maybe it would help you too. And then of course, in a manner that you're getting that support with a lot of, I can imagine where you are, or I've also been there, and this got me out of it, and let's work together. So that's where I'd say the idea of accountability comes. But then in a larger perspective, even just having a friend group where like you just meet to talk about life would go a long way. And then of course, make sure that whatever, again, from such a space, make sure that whatever you're sharing as what would be helpful is hopefully like can be against the facts, like be stand against facts and be right. Isikuje like internet stuff or anything.
Jabba.
Let it be things that are actionable and they are positive and healthy and helpful, so that at the end of the day we are moving forward rather than creating problems as a group, and then now we have a group problem and we have like multiple families with issues to deal with because it started here. At least let it be healthy and helpful.
Okay, thank you, Gladwell. I think at the beginning, when a lot of us, all of us, were sharing about practices that we're implementing and learning about, I think it was you and I who shared also about movement. So, and there was a myth that was saying, it doesn't matter what I eat as long as I exercise. So, about nutrition or lifestyles, what do you think there are good habits and bad habits for nutrition for women or in general? Sheila, maybe I'd ask you that question.
Yes. there are good habits and there are bad habits. And as Gladwell was saying, health starts with you. You usingoje mtu mwingine aseme, oh, eat this and this and this. It has to start from you. Like unajiita mkutano, you take stock take of your life and you're like, by the this is what like unajita tu mkutano, like what are my own good habits, and you know even the bad habits, you know them. You know them kabisa. Like when you're eating a whole tub of ice cream for supper, you know for sure that is not you know unajua tu, you're just lying to yourself when you say ati I'm young, I can eat whatever I want. It doesn't it doesn't affect. One thing I've come to know is what you are like when you how you're building your body now, itaku affect uko mwisho. When you're in your 40s 60s, itaku affect. Like if you're not someone who is taking your health seriously right now, especially your nutrition, itafika mahali where, you know, the thing I think with women, nutrition really affects our hormonal, it affects our hormones, whether we want to accept
or is it the other way? Does our hormone affect our nutrition? Like, is the hormone that what makes you feel like this is what I should eat?
You're saying
those are like kind of
choices.
those are like cravings. Yes, they are there.
Okay.
But when you look at those cravings, like when I want to eat kukunywa soda because it's my time of the month, and I just want something sweet. That something sweet will come back and bite me because it's a cramp, because I've been taking in all this junk. It's not really to help me. Unaona, because two cravings and tu ziko tu, but they're not really there to help you in the long run, you know. So I think one of the myths we have as young people, we think, I'm young, I can do whatever I want. When I get 35, 40, itaanza kuwa serious. But do you know when you get to that point, inakuwa ngumu. Because umekuwa na hii habit. So kwanza kuiacha inakuwa very hard. Inakuwa very hard like you want to start running, or you want to start maybe doing exercise in the house or something, like you want to start eating healthy. I think we can do better. Let's not wait till you're 40 or something. And we always have this thing where we think it's only the older people who can get sick, who can get like they can get heart disease, they can get cancer and all that. We always think that the young people haiwezi tupata. Like I'm young, I think my body is still okay. Being young doesn't mean you're healthy. So we need to start doing better. And I've said it starts with you. Take a stock, because what for me, maybe I can say maybe something like running will not work for me, but swimming will work for don't try. And I feel like for young people with the social media and everything, we have this idea of we all want to be thin, or we want to look a certain way, we want to kukua na nyash kubwa sisi wote, like we all want to fit a certain kind of, especially for ladies, we want to fit a certain kind of mold. But what is health for you? What is good health for you?
But let me just add something for sweet tooth people like me out here. There's actually been studies that have shown you can eat sugar when you crave it, but it's what comes before the sugar. So you fortify your gut with all the vegetables and the complex carbs you can give it first. When you give it your chocolate, it doesn't cause a spike in your sugar. So that would not lead to you like eventually get like serious cramps or something like that. So it's just a shortcut. Once na mamishiri na rice na whatever, and then now ongeza kapisa chocolate. And even the chocolate, it has to be good chocolate, not dark chocolate. It should not be overly sweet. Still not something that can cause a spike in your sugar levels. So kuna shortcut guys, msione ni kama tunasema msikule chocolate.
Yeah. Gladwell, are there ways that nutrition affects mental health?
Yes.
Where do we start? Okay.
My mental health
Emma,
affects
mental-
your nutrition. You're like, I'm so depressed right
for
now. I
ladies,
just
for
want,
women especially.
I
Yeah.
just want to eat ice cream. I want to eat pizza and all that.
So for sure, nutrition affects mental health
Mhm.
both ways. Like if you're practicing good nutrition, of course, it's a good effect. The other way around as well. And it's a matter of whatever you eat goes through all your systems basically.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like the brain is like the receiver of
Of all the nutrients,
all that is going around in
Yeah.
your body.
Yeah.
So if it is something beneficial, and I think Sheila has mentioned a bit about the spices like the ginger, nini, and it's going to like cleanse your systems in a way, then your brain also gets the benefits. So basically you get to thrive in or get to live in the aftermath of like the cleanse, where your brain has some clarity and you're able to maybe focus and do things and everything. But then if you've introduced something like caffeine, let me hit the target. Caffeine in your system, coffee, tea, people, you're in Kericho, amen, hallelujah. Your brain also gets to suffer the effects of it. And that's where like you'll find either hyperactivity, like you're on the move, possibly especially if you take caffeine in the night, in the evening. You're supposed to be winding down for the night and sleep, and then you've introduced caffeine out of kupenda chai na kuna flask fulani imewekwa chai, and so why not? And suddenly your brain is in override, like we need to be active. It's like you're starting your day in your brain, but then in the reality it's the end of the day. And so suddenly you're so alert, and it's like you want to start to work and be active and everything, and now you're struggling. You're like, oh, I cannot go to sleep and whatever.
Yeah.
Insomnia in extreme cases and all. So basically whatever you take in goes all the way up.
Yeah.
And so being conscious of that, and again, interestingly, it's the same brain that's supposed to help you make the decision whether to pick the chocolate or not.
Yeah.
And so it's like a whole process, and I won't go deeper into the specific foods to avoid or not to avoid, at least in this session. But in the broader perspective, watching what you eat goes a long way for your health, and especially for your brain health. Why I said where to start is because the conversation on brain health is so long. I wouldn't want to go into it right now. But then as women, being conscious of how your brain is in terms of health, like how healthy you're either feeding, how you're taking care of yourself, how you are appreciating the surroundings, goes a long way in your brain health. So it's very important to keep that in perspective so that you're taking care of yourself as much as you can. The sugar part, my contribution to the conversation on sugar and carbohydrates. I don't know, for someone, if you've ever been able to try, we're just from a fasting period, and I don't know, maybe I can ask the ladies on set. When you're in that period of fasting, do you feel more energetic brain-wise, like in terms of thinking and focus and everything, or less? Let me just ask that first, and then
Does it depend on what time of the
Yeah,
month still? Like,
it depends also the time of the day. Like me, if I stay long without eating, maybe I won't function.
yeah,
I'll just like akili yangu hata like I'll walk into a room and I'll be like nilikuwa nakujia nini hapo, unakaa unaangalia unarudi, like my brain is not 100%.
Yeah.
But then that's really contrary, because like scientifically though, when you're fasting, when you're not eating, your brain should be alert because it's not digesting anything. It's free, you know, ni kama ni science tunafikiria ama diagnosis tunafikiria ni diagnosis. Hatusemi, oh, there's some food that the liver needs to filter if there's anything wrong. No, because you have to remember when like when you're fasting or when this is happening in your body, it's a whole communication within the body, right? So you've not had anything except water the whole time. Now the body is like, okay, we're going to use the excess fats, right? And this one is in cases of like tunastarve sasa ndo tunatumia the excess fats, but other than that it will just be the easy glucose that's just available in the body. So your body is not really trying to break anything. And honestly, there's been some research that shows when you're fasting, you're more alert, you're more brilliant. Hata watu wengine wao wanasema when you go for an interview, don't eat anything, just enda tu, because you're very much sharp, you can respond faster because there's nothing your body is trying to digest or break down. So
Yeah. What Vanessa is saying always makes me question putting math lesson after lunch.
Putting?
Teachers, math lesson after lunch.
or physics,
Yeah.
Or like just some very complex subject.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
because you're
I'm
very
to
much
sleep or
full.
think.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, what Shay is saying is very, I'd say, practically accurate, because your brain needs glucose to function.
Yeah.
And if you know,
Yeah.
food is what feeds our system, so
Yes.
it's glucose. But then number two, when there is that deprivation, like of active,
Or easily available glucose.
yes, there's a chance that your brain has like a space to reset
Yes.
before we start over. But
Yes.
then if you're constantly taking in food, it's like we are constantly in operation,
Yeah.
and there's no room to reset before. It's
Yeah.
like let me give the example of cleaning your stove. I don't know why I'm calling it stove. I think it's just from watching something, or like your cooker
Yeah.
at home. Mnapika then inafikanga mahali you're like, by the way guys, hapa kumekuwa na a lot of stains, like either ni mafuta imeanza like ime nini, ama sugar ili spill out while you were cooking or something. There's just something off on that cooker.
Yeah.
You need to clean it first. So you'll remove everything, the covers, the nini, clean properly, then back, then we cook again. So that's the thing, like the systems are able to take a rest and then reset. But then unfortunately, how we feel is kama sijakula for 2 hours, si imepata chance ya reset. But then remember, in the 2 hours, you ate 2 hours ago, but it's still somewhere in your stomach being processed. Haija go through the full
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
So your brain has been working for those
Yeah.
2 hours. Probably still working by the time you're
Yeah.
taking another piece of
Yeah.
chocolate, or by the time you're taking another cup of tea, and you feel like, I am starving. It's been 3 hours or 4 hours, but your system still
Yeah.
has something going on.
Yeah.
And actually what you said, that when you don't eat unafeel tu ni kama man, hata sikumbuki. Literally, you know, science does not even understand the human brain yet. Literally, bado hatujui what is going on with the human brain. But I was watching a video and this person was showing, in that time when you're starving, like, okay, you're fasting or haujakula for a long time, your brain is literally sending signals. Guys, sita function na sita kikitu kwa sababu hamnipei sugar. So it's your brain playing a trick on you. Bend to my will or atusongi.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like a muscle. You push it, the stronger it gets. So today we fast 2 hours, kesho 4 hours, kidogo tu adjust. Okay, we can go 4 hours, we can go 5 hours.
I accept.
So yeah.
Yeah. So there's a certain threshold. I forget the time limit. It's actually there. We can find out and then maybe share with you to tag. Where it's like your brain gives in and it's like, okay guys, I hear what you're trying to make me
Yeah.
do. Let me do it then.
Yeah.
And then kicks into function.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of, are you able to bear with the discomfort
Yeah.
in between until you cross that threshold? Of course, with the goal in mind that you're trying to build some sort of resilience
Yeah.
and ability to bounce back no matter how hard things go. And I think this is what they apply, like in military, in those hardcore trainings. You'll realize most of the time it's a matter of, it's like kuteswa in a sense, but then it's just to make your brain go to the limit it can go.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we allow you to just get
Yeah.
back and then like that.
And it's
so
an
we keep
important
pushing
thing.
the threshold.
Yeah.
So there's a certain, I'll really find the time
Yeah.
and then share with June. And then once you cross that, you're able to maybe
Yeah.
like high functioning and everything. And if you're able to do that maybe frequently, you can imagine how many ideas you can come up with
Yeah.
and hopefully actualize
Yeah.
to change the world.
Hata unaweza, like literally there's even studies that are saying, you know, now if the more intermittent fasting and all this just starving yourself kind of thing, like unakula after long umekaa for a long time without eating. It even prevents neurodegenerative diseases, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, all these weird things literally now, because your brain is super active. Hatuna time yaku. It's like, think of your brain when you're full. It's literally like kako na kitambi, kako tu na toothpick, na jaribu ku digest what is happening. But think of it when you're not when you're hungry, like hakuna food the whole day. Need two muscles. It's like liver, tafuta kitu hapa hivi chini. Kidney, kuna kitu mahali hapa hivi you know, so it's like the cells are just more active, they interact with each other better. So even this neurodegenerative diseases, it's not very likely for them to happen to people with who do the intermittent fastings and all.
But then I think whenever we think of fasting, we do it to lose weight or something most of the time. But then when you transition to the brain health perspective, it's normally cracks something, like you feel like, okay, maybe I can do it.
To brain health.
Because I think when people bring up fasting, most times it's about losing weight.
And you're just like, mimi niko sawa.
Physical, and then you're like, why should I fast? Mnataka nikufe, you know. But there's a place for it in our health.
So we are approaching the conclusion. I think something that I'm getting from all of us from this discussion is, like, women, you can't afford to just go through the motions. Like, you have to be intentional and aware of everything that is happening. Like Lotmangalila, cycle thinking, you have to be aware of what phase you're in, what kind of energy you have, what you should engage in, the nutrition, the kind of exercise. Hizo vitu zote vile Sheila was saying, like being aware even when you're consuming content on the internet, and just like sitting by yourself and saying, okay, this is where I am, like this is what applies to me. Okay, me actually like that. I think there's a whole thing where people are getting sensitized about working out. Like even though mtu anaweza feel pressure, but there's a lot of like right now people are in a lot of walking clubs, running clubs, people are going to the gym, like
like, don't do it because other people are like, have a real reason and
why
a
you're doing it for
personal one
yourself.
why you're doing it. Otherwise ukiwa na a flimsy reason, unataka kupost social media, you're in the gym, unataka kupost kona abs, like you'll just, it's not aina longevity kufanya kitu kama hiyo.
Really
but when it comes from within you, like by day, for me, I want to start eating better because of ABCD, because maybe just whatever reason, that bora tu ni personal for you, like, and being truly intentional about it, you'll go far.
So I think I just like to ask all of you something that, a parting shot basically, something that you'd like to advise women on anything related to health that we've talked about. Ama vile nilikuwa nawaambia before that ukiingia kwa exam na hawaja kuuliza swali yenye ulikuwa ready kujibu, there should be a section at the end uambiwe uandike sasa everything that you read and it didn't come in the exam. So if there's something that maybe you haven't discussed, you think it's important to say, ama if there's something that either you apply in your own life, you'd like to advise others, ama you've read about it, you've heard about it, anything. Tunaweza anza kwa Gladys.
Okay.
Am I ready?
A lot of things are going through my mind, but I think for me, one thing, I think for me, the more I grow, naona the importance of health. When I was in my 20s, I really wasn't taking my health very seriously. But now in your 30s, you start seeing how your body will change. I remember one time after I'd gotten married, Nika gained weight. Then I was really feeling down. I told my sister I'm feeling bad. My sister told my mom. Then my mom called me. Msichana forever. You think you'll have that size 27 waist for the rest of your life? Your body is changing, and learn to accept yourself how venye uko. Like usitake kurudi kwa hiyo mwili. But anyway, what I've learned is, for women, our ages really determine really affect our health. We should be very conscious of what we are taking in depending on our age, because we have various needs in our ages. Like I was reading about how in our 20s, 30s, you're in your reproductive years. So are you eating, or are you feeding, or are you looking at your health in a way that is going to help your reproductive years? Your 40s, 50s, you're in that perimenopausal season. Your body is also changing at that time. Are you feeding it in those regards? In your 60s, like, you need to start thinking about your cognitive health, like memory, and ukikula unashughulikia unafikiria hizo vitu zote. So that's why I've said, let's not wait until I'm 40 something ndio naanza, let me take serious my health, but let's start now. Let's be healthy now. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think for me it's the HPV vaccine. So I think last year we had like a health checkup at work. So they just bring doctors and they do a full body checkup, right? So in that whole interview, so me, I've gone to nimeenda kutolewa damu, sindio? So I meet one of my coworkers and they're like, oh, mi naenda this kind of checkup for my cervical cancer kind of checkup, right? The pap smear, right? So I'm with the nurse and she's like, oh, you should also get the pap smear. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And let me just go see the doctor and then I come back, right? So I go to the doctor and he's like, so this is a little bit sensitive. So just in case you feel like this is TMI, pole kwako. The doctor is like, when was your last period? I say, okay. When was the last sexual encounter? I say, I've never had sex. And then he says, oh, okay. Go back to the nurse and tell the nurse to give you a HPV vaccine. And I didn't know until then that if you've not had sex before, you can get the HPV vaccine. Because what is being told, like literally health inasema, and that's because si mingi, it's tunapewa for free, right? Tunataka kupea kids who are under 18. And that's because the assumption is you've not had sex. So high school, watoto wengi wa high school bado, unajua, hawaja experiment. So wengi wanapewa the HPV vaccine. But even men can actually get the HPV vaccine. I don't think we have it available. I don't know if we have it available in Kenya, but men can get the HPV vaccine. But my point is this. After that checkup, I called my best friend. After I got the first shot, I called my best friend. I'm like, when the level 5 kesho, uambi unataka HPV vaccine. Because it's something that is free.
And available in all hospitals.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Yes. Because I got the first dose at Equity Afia. Second dose, nikaenda to bado nikawambia, you guys gave me a first dose last year time like this. I'm here for the second dose. So it was not available in Kericho. Well, he called the hospital in Nairobi, Wakaship. So you go to any public hospital. And I think I was even telling the nurse when I went for my second shot, I'm going to tell my friends to come for this vaccine because it's an important thing. You know, it's ukishajua this virus is associated with you getting cervical cancer. So ni better to nikwe
So
safe.
literally every woman needs to take it.
Yes.
Every girl,
Exactly. So, and also in America and Europe, men also get the HPV vaccine. But unajua sisi, I don't think we have that kind of resource. But if you can get the HPV vaccine, please go take it. If you cannot, if you've been sexually active before, make sure you at least do a pap smear. After you've, like, I don't know how often you should do a pap smear, but just do some research around it, because cervical cancer is also something that's really coming up in women's health, and it's really, cancer is, if I'm being honest, worse than HIV, because unajua HIV unaweza meza dawa na unone. Cancer inaweza kukupeleka until God intervenes or chemo, you could literally be going to heaven very soon. So I think just be aware of what is really happening, and just, if you can get the HPV vaccine, do it. If not, please get a pap smear. Just know. Just something to finish. Do you know, surprisingly, I know many people don't know this, but men can carry the HPV and it would not affect them. But you have sex with this man, utaipata na ikue more likely kukupea cervical cancer. So this is why in other countries they're advocating for men also to get, yes. But because we don't have that, for you as a woman, take you, like the way Gladwell said, your health is your own initiative. Just do something about it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. From my part, I have a list. June said whatever you had saved.
Your
I
moment.
actually had. Anyway, so as a woman, I think it's very important to still bear in mind that your health is a priority. Before you can take care of anyone, you need to be like well enough to do it. So if you're not taking care of yourself, it means everyone who's like to be taken care of by you will suffer eventually. So number one is self-care is not selfish, and I think women cannot be told that enough times. So wake up every morning if you have to and tell yourself that it's not selfish. It's something that is actually going to be helpful for you and for everyone else who looks up to you for any support, any kind of help. Then prioritizing yourself. I think in all this, all we are saying is you come first and no one else can help you put yourself first. So it needs to come from you. So prioritize yourself, and especially your health. Your well-being, whatever you need to do to take care of it, go for it. And I think we've discussed a few things on this set that unaweza kaa chini uandike your list and then tick what you're doing right, what you're not doing, and try to be intentional about putting that on your list. Then asking. I think as a woman, sometimes it doesn't come easy to seek help because we are used to being the ones helping. But then in a space where we are really hoping awareness can help us come out of some of the situations, like what she said about HPV. If you didn't interact with Vanessa and maybe get to know she knows, of course you wouldn't ever know. But then when you ask, when you seek information, it goes a long way in either helping you come out of a situation you would be stuck in for so long, or avoid it entirely. You'll not end up in that situation if you can prevent it by knowing. So ask, and especially in this case, where possible, seek out a professional, whatever aspect. There are professionals for all aspects. There is the physical, go to a GP, like general practitioner. They are able to address almost every aspect of physical health. If there is specifics, they'll refer you. That's the good thing about the healthcare system. Then the second is if there is any emotional, psychological issue, seek out a psychologist, seek out a psychiatrist. They will know how to refer amongst themselves by knowing, okay, umekuja na hii issue kwangu, but then I handle this part. Can I send you to a colleague who knows this part? So approach any of them and they'll help you. If it's anything social, seek that support. There's spiritual organizations like our churches, wherever you go or wherever you lean into for community, seek support from there. Have people who can guide you and be there for you, and ask questions where you have a concern. And then the best part of living in a community is we have one another. So as ladies, be a sister's keeper, look out for one another. And in this case, even as you talk about the menstrual cycle, and the one thing that I'd say happens to us that is like a unique health aspect for women, carry that extra pad. Like I think all around the month, nitabebana na my pouch of pads, sometimes not for me, but I know I could walk into someone and they're so frustrated because they don't have a sanitary towel, and I'll be like, oh hi, I can help you. You know, that will be so kind and so nice, because I would wish someone could do that for me too if I'm ever in that position. So carry that extra pad. Ask someone if they are feeling okay, because our emotions show. At least we are fortunate to have that as women. It shows. If you are not okay, it will show, but then until we ask is when we will know how to help. So ask them how they are feeling, what's going on, can you help them? Is there any way they feel would be helpful? Usiende tu kisaidia. Sometimes you can just ask them, is there anything I can do to help? That would go a long way, because now it will be more direct than doing what you think is right. And then most important is encouraging one another. I think as women, we tend to be more critical. Like we are the first ones to throw the stone. Most of the time, if someone is going through a difficult time, it's so unfortunate when it comes from a fellow woman to say, imagine anapitia, and that's gossip. It would go a long way to just be the encourager. Reach out, seek them out. If they're not able to leave their house because of A, B, C, D reason, go to their house. Go wash their dishes and be like, I'm just here. Don't mind me. I'm just cleaning your house and I'm gone. Hata usiniongeleshe, you know, that would be like an encouraging thing to do. They may not be ready to talk about what's going on, but you've done something. You've entered their space. You've made it better, and they're feeling better just by that. So I think let's look out for one another and
Yeah.
be very encouraging. And as we get to know more, let's use that information to grow and
Yeah.
be better. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's important because sometimes there's a lot of sensitivity, a lot of negative attitudes towards female friendships and female relationships. But I think they can be really beautiful, as you said. So just as she said, let's be our sisters, keepers, and let these conversations happen more often, not only in podcasts or in conferences, but in our relationships and in our friendships as ladies. Yeah. So next, we're gonna be having a part 2, and if you have any questions, maybe that have arose that zenye zimerise from this episode, make sure you ask them in the comments. I think we'll also do a poll, not a polio question, Q&A on Instagram and TikTok, on YouTube, and make sure you respond if you have any questions. The next episode hopefully will be having a professional gyna and I believe a nutritionist. Yes. So yes, make sure you ask your questions. And then thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you
being
so
here.
much for having us.
Thank you for all the amazing knowledge zenye you have poured out. May God bless you.
Amina.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you can wave and say bye.
Bye. Thank
Until
you.
next time. Oh yes, now in case you didn't know, our episodes are also available on Spotify. So make sure you go listen. Yeah. And then lastly, there's a new short form content series called On the Bench that is now out that Oedaka is hosting. So you can find it on Instagram or TikTok.
Okay.
Till next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, June.
Welcome.